the top 10 hottest comic books of the week based off of Cover Price's data. Cover Price comes up with their top 10 list on Mondays. We discuss it on Friday. We'll go through the list real quick, but Chris picks out 3 books that he finds most fascinating from this list, and I can't wait to get into it because we got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Because Chris,
I've been waiting for this one this week.
What did we say last week? What did actually you said it last week?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was like, I mean, the books last week were just so boring to me. And, you know, with all the announcements, we're like, let's wait for next week's top 10 because it's going to be on.
And it was. I looked at it this week in our rehearsal. I was like, Chris, it's really not influenced that much by the Disney announcement. And then I had to do math. I had to literally count through it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, it is. And we'll get into those stats after we read off the top 10 hottest comic books of the week. Here we go. At number 10 is Invincible Iron Man number 9, the first full appearance of Riri Williams, a.k.a. Ironheart. Number 9, we have Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron number 1. At number 8, we have Secret Invasion number 1, based off of that Nick Fury series. All pumped about that. Number 7, we have Star Wars number 5, first appearance of Wedge Antilles, which Sith Lordly just picked up for $5. Where am I? At number 6, we have Star Wars Mace Windu, first appearance of Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars canon. That's Marvel Star Wars canon. Number 5, Thor God of Thunder number 2, the first appearance of GORR the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale. Number 4 is Invincible Iron Man number 1, the first appearance of Riri Williams as Ironheart on the cover. Number 3 is Star Wars number 2, first Obi-Wan, CHEWY, Han, JABBA, etc., etc. Number 2 is Daredevil number 25. I am surprised it's still this high on the list. At number 1 is DC's Very Merry Multiverse, first appearance of Jeff Chambers, a.k.a. Kid Quick, Future State's Flash. Wow. That's number 1. Anyways, Chris.
Yeah.
I was wrong when
How many there?
I looked at it at face value. There are 8 out of the 10 based off of any announcement that Disney made. 8 out of the 10. There is 9 out of the 10 that are strictly Marvel. And then, you know, the number 1 though, it falls into DC with the Very Merry Multiverse, which I don't know. I don't know about that book. I don't know if it's got leg.
Yeah, real crazy. Hey, look, you know, sometimes I talk about a runner-up, and I'll give credit for DC for, you know, after all that hype, DC still took the number 1 spot. That's nuts. You know, obviously, I'm sure most of them, you know, there's a lot of probably cover price purchases. I didn't look at the actual numbers, but hey, give credit to DC. You know, Future State is hot, and that proves it. So really, really cool to see them at number 1. But my 3 picks all have to do with the Disney Plus hype.
Yes, they
all
do.
3 of them.
Yes,
and it was tough for me to pick. It was tough for me to pick last week because it was so bland. It was tough for me to pick this week because I wanted to pick like all of them, but I had to stick with 3. So let's get into my number 3 pick is Invincible Iron Man number 9, first full appearance of Riri Williams. The reason I picked this book is because I think that this was probably the most shocking announcement. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some people would say Secret Invasion, but I really felt this was. I really felt we've had so much talk since Endgame about what they're going to do to carry on, you know, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man legacy. You know, we know that they've set up Peter Parker. He was that next one in line to lead and be that kind of symbol. You know, but look, and then we had, you know, I forget the kid's name, you know, grown up at Tony's funeral. That was in Iron Man 3. So there were so many other things. We have his daughter. I think really when we talked about something happening with an Iron Man, and hey, we have Don Cheadle, you know, they're doing Armor Wars. I think Ironheart and a Riri Williams was probably the last thing that we'd expect for them to carry on something that involves Iron Man. Though whoever thought that was wrong though, and I even said, you know, I don't know. I do believe we'll see her in the MCU. I don't think they'd rush into it, but they are. She's got a show coming, and I'm excited about it. So that's why I picked this book. This book saw 161% increase in sales last week with a high CGC and a 9.8 of $425. Guys, this keeps getting hotter. And look, we keep talking about this, Jeff. We keep talking about these next generation heroes. And Miles has done so much kind of with his own, you got the animated feature films that are just pushing him along, and the video games. But you got, and then you got Kamala in the video game, but she's getting her own show, and now Ironheart getting her own show. Look, this already has its own legs to stand on, and if this show delivers, here's another one.
Look out! I mean, like, they're already building the future right here. You got Kate Bishop, you got Ironheart. Geez, who else did they announce? Like Kamala. Like it's just, and Spider-Man's young too. Granted, he's more of a tentpole in regards to the characters there. I don't think he would join a Young Avengers group or a Champions group. But I mean, they're building. They're built in with those shows. Those three separate shows: the Ironheart, Hawkeye, and Miss Marvel. You're going to be introduced to even more younger characters that could be part of a larger group. So it's going to be quite interesting how they're fleshing these things together, and I'm super psyched. I was really excited to see this announcement. I was shocked, but excited at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. It was a good shock.
Just want to say hey to Larissa Astorga. She said hello. Anyways, moving on to our second book that you find.
All right, guys. All right, Star Wars fans, you guys know me. Man, this book had shot up for multiple reasons. One reason I think pertains possibly to the Mandalorian, but let's not talk about that. But and look, guys, I have it right here, and that's the Mace Windu #5, and I'm just blown away. Guys, you want to know something? I got this book in the 50-cent bin. 50 cents. So let's dive into some numbers, huh? This book is the first appearance of Ahsoka in quote-unquote Star Wars canons. Now, a lot of us Star Wars heads are probably pissed when we hear that. First appearance of Star Wars canon? What? Marvel ain't Star Wars canon? That's a retcon, right? I mean, look, this is muddy waters here, because there's a lot of Star Wars fans that see all the old extended universe stuff and the Dark Horse stuff as canon. But Marvel retcon that stuff. And Marvel and Disney, having control of Star Wars, they made the decision to say all the Dark Horse stuff, all the EU stuff, that's no longer canon. The Marvel stuff is. So look, take it how you want to take it. Even me, I don't like even just looking at the Marvel stuff as canon. I don't. But look, the market says what it is, and people are still going after it. 269% increase in sales. And guess what this sold for in a 9.8, guys? $500. That's nuts. I got this book for 50 cents.
50 cents. That's absolutely insane.
It could be a 9.8. This could be a $500 book. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Listen, you hit the nail on the head. The market dictates the books to go after. We dictate those books. The first appearance of Ahsoka Tano in a comic book is going for way more money. So everybody considers that the first appearance. And some of these things are brought into Marvel canon as well. So people are on the lookout. Look at Heir to the Empire and Thrawn, those types of things. So it's still an important book, because Marvel needs to kind of, and I'd like to know how Sith Lordly feels about this, but Marvel has to kind of filter out the stuff that just doesn't make sense. And I know Lucasfilms has their own team that does this, but it's definitely a challenge, because fans are into certain characters that are out of video games or books too. So it's really interesting. Right. But again, this is a hot book, and it's interesting to see on the list that people are going after this because it's more affordable than that actual first appearance of Ahsoka.
Right. Absolutely. So you see the demand, though, for this character still, regardless how you feel about canon and whatnot. Yeah, the demand is still there. Like, the first time we see her in a comic book is the book that matters. But, I mean, for this book to be at $500 and a 9.8 shows the hype around this. And I don't think that's dying anytime soon. I just can't wait for her own show. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh gosh, I can't wait. Anyways, the Star Wars franchise is in good hands right now. Before we continue, Planet Arizona Comics. Hi, Jeff and Chris. Hi, everyone. Hope you all are well. We hope you are well too. Thank you for joining us. Planet Arizona Comics. Sith Lordly, Dark Horse was the best. everybody, Sith Lordly, if you can't tell by the name, dude knows his Star Wars. Dude has an insane amount of, it's an insane collection of Star Wars. Mandalorian is great. Disney trilogy is doo-doo. A lot of people feel that way. And Rebels, Clone Wars, and Resistance is also dope. I am in Rebels right now. Clone Wars was fantastic. Rebels, I'm in the second season. It was one of those things where, just like Clone Wars, Rebels it takes a while to get up to. I feel like they thought it would be a little bit kind of geared more towards younger children. It's a bit childish. It's definitely changed its tone. Clone Wars changes its tone. Resistance will be my next, but I'm glad, Sith Lordly, that you have said that Rebels is dope, because I'm in it right now. And I could go on real quick. I'm going to get off topic, but real quick, the episode I just saw, I think it was yesterday, was the one where Zeb and Callus had to work together. That was an incredible, incredible, incredible episode. One of the best, like, cartoon Star Wars episodes I have seen. Anyways, moving on to our final book of the. I hear myself. I'm so excited because it's coming out of your speakers, Chris. Your final book of the week, Chris. What do you got?
All right. Again, this was the toughest one for me to pick a #1 book, but I stuck with Star Wars because I think this book, for one, has been underappreciated, and I think we're really starting to understand that, yes, you know, a lot of the Star Wars characters we were introduced to in film, and then they got brought over to the comics. It's a bit different when you get characters like Spider-Man or Punisher or Moon Knight or the Avengers that show up in a comic book first, and then, oh, look, now we get to see them live action. It's a bit different, but now we're seeing that people still demand for these characters' first appearance in a comic book. So my #1 pick was Star Wars. #2, this book has the first comic book appearance of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Han Solo, Chewbacca, Jabba the Hutt. The first time we see the Millennium Falcon, the first time we see the Death Star. It's loaded, guys. This book saw a 352% increase in sales and a high CGC 9.6, not 9.8, 9.6 sold for $325. This is a book that I have 3 copies of this book. I have the reprint, the reprint that came in the 3-packs, and I have the newsstand edition. And I got all 3 books over the last 7 years. And I know that's a long time, but I got them all over the last 7 years for under $10 each. And I think the reprint one I got recently for only a couple bucks. That would be the Whitman, the Whitman variant reprint. So, you know, and you know, I think my newsstand edition is probably I haven't looked at it in a long time. It's definitely not a 9.6, but you know, probably anywhere between a 6.0 and a 7.5. And it just shows that this book has been undervalued for a very, very long time. That's starting to change. And I know, and I always talk about this, you know, when do you buy books? When's the right time to buy? If we're talking about them on this show, you missed the right time to buy them. But we also talk about how there's the ebb and flow, bell-shaped curves, you know, bubbles when hype comes from live action announcements with TV shows and movies and whatnot. But I just think that we are in a pivotal state in Star Wars history where from right now to moving forward, it's not dying off soon. We hit a low. We hit a low with The Last Jedi. We are on a new path, guys, and I don't see the Star Wars hype slowing down any much as I see the MCU hype slowing down. I actually think the Star Wars hype over the next 5 years might, and I know this may be blasphemy to say this, but it might be bigger than the MCU hype over the next 5 years, at least within the respective fan bases. All right. And so what does that mean for these comic books? It means that these comic books were kind of passed aside for a long time, and now the hype is really getting there. So will these increases stand the test of time 10, 20 years down the road? That's yet to be seen, especially, you know, like newer books like this. But for the Star Wars #2, man, I definitely think this is a very valid long-term investment.
Agreed, and I like what Sith Lordly agreed with you. I pulled his comment up. It's definitely undervalued. And also, Planet Arizona, Marvel Star Wars has been undervalued for so long. It's good to finally see that run get its due. I mean, you're so right. Like what they've done with the Mandalorian and kind of reignited the excitement for Star Wars as an IP in general. It's limited. Again, they know what they've done. And I'd be interested to hear what Sith Lordly thinks about how this creative team with Favreau and Filoni have the finger on the pulse of the fans. And it's not that they're doing fan service; they are, but they're doing it in a way that's amazing storytelling. It's fantastic storytelling. You know what I mean? Like, say what you want about the sequels. I'm sorry. I think maybe in this area right here with everybody here, I'm in the minority. I liked all three of them. But oh my God, I'm in love with The Mandalorian. I'm in love with the announcements that they came out with. I'm in love with the direction that they're taking all of this live action to, as well as the comic books. Like, I've never been into Star Wars comic books until now. And as I was just talking about, the new Darth Vader series is such an interesting take. I'm super excited about the future of Star Wars. And I agree with you that the hype is just growing, and it's feverish as much as the MCU, especially with the content they're going to be putting out.
Yep.
So super exciting. And again, want to hear what Sith Lordly's thoughts are on that. But that is our top 10 hottest comics of the week.